It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Looking to the right, throwing the fade into the end zone. Simi Fehoko, the catch. Toe taps the sideline. Cardinals touchdown. How about that? Simi Fehoko on the business end. Carson Beck put it right on the money. Rolling right, throwing on the run into the end zone. Sliding grab by the Cardinals. Bryson Green out of bounds.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed to a touchdown.
Game on the line. King, he's going to step up. Pumps, runs, goal line. Is he in? Yes! Carolina wins! King of the night!
Carolina Panthers win the Hall of Fame game. The preseason starts with the Panthers beating the Cardinals 33-30. You heard Brighton High's Simi Fehoko. 1 catch, 5 yards, 1 touchdown. For a guy I bet you watched, PK, at some point. Go over there to old Brighton High and see Simi Fehoko, the Bengal who went on to Stanford.
My wife taught.
Oh, in a class, huh? Nice.
Albion
Middle School.
We go way back.
Back in the day. Carson Beck showing well for Arizona. 15 of 19, 188 yards. Keaton Slovis came on, 9 of 10, 106 yards. Touchdown, no picks. So, nice performance by those guys as they try to prove they belong in the league and they should be given a bigger opportunity. And I would think Keaton Slovis is feeling pretty good right about now.
Okay.
Detroit Lions reward star running back Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 years, $67.5 million extension, $51.5 million guaranteed. Incentives could take it a little over $75 million. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, big money.
Big success story in his personal life there, from where he came and being adopted by a couple and all that. And had some tough times early on, and a guy you can want to see succeed.
Well, he's doing it individually and as a team. A little bit of a down year for them versus 2 years ago. Obviously, they finished last in the division, so they get a few easier games mixed in, and last in the division. And at the same time, they still had a winning record. Even as he prepares for the Hall of Fame enshrinement, Larry Fitzgerald was saying things like, "Retired?" ? What do you mean retired? There's no retirement in sight. I don't know. I protest the word more than the actual thing. I just want to acknowledge that.
Well, does that mean he's getting ready for work right now? He go work at 8 o'clock?
I don't think he's going to be punching a time clock, PK.
Played 17 years in the NFL. I think he's okay.
But maybe he's open to some kind of coaching job or the gig economy.
He never officially submitted retirement paperwork.
Yeah.
What's crazy, you want to talk about him 17 years in the NBA. By the time he was 25, I think Devin Booker had already earned more money than Larry Fitzgerald earned in an entire NFL career. 2 Phoenix guys, obviously. I heard that. Somebody told me that story about the guaranteed money, and the money you get in the NBA is way better than the NFL, and here's a Hall of Famer. He's probably Mr. Cardinal there. Mr. Arizona Cardinal, anyway.
All the other high-profile people come and go, aren't there as long, and there really aren't many people as high-profile as him anyway. Plus, he played a skilled position on top of that. Tampa Bay Bucks GM Jason Light says the franchise has no plans to trade away defensive tackle Vita Vea despite his trade request, and that Baker Mayfield remains QB number 1 despite his cutting off of the contract talks. They'll either figure it out later or work it out later or move on from him later, but for this year, Baker's the guy. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Every recruit and every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
See, you're trying to slam the rival there, but the rival just went 16-0 and won a championship, so that was bizarre / awkward at best, or just wrong.
Yeah, that's in the past, though, man. Look to the future. Man, you're stuck in the past.
Yeah, I think when the past is just the most recent college
still
football
the past.
game.
You can think whatever you want, but it's still in the past.
Just, I don't know, was it 2 days ago? Maybe it was even yesterday. Talking about you got to go to practices back in the day as a beat writer because you never know, somebody's going to get hurt and you got to be there to report it and all that. And USC loses their starting center, Killian O'Connor, to a season-ending non-contact leg injury in practice. He started 7 games last year, was expected to be the guy this year, and now he's out.
And somebody told you that BYU's worried about Kalani going to SC, huh? They didn't tell me that. They told you.
Did they tell you that? Has someone ever? No one's ever told you that? Yeah.
No, you told me that somebody told you.
Yep. That was used as an example of they'll have success and people will keep knocking on the door and they'll come calling, just like Penn State did. There'll be somebody up next.
Knocking on the door, someone's ringing a bell.
Sing it. Indiana Hoosiers announced that edge rusher Kellen Wyatt's returning for a 5th year after the injunction in Colorado last week. He started 7 games last season before season-ending knee surgery. He joined Stephen Daly as Hoosier standouts from last year that opted to return this year. North Carolina coach Bill Belichick announced his son Steve's on medical leave, out indefinitely, no further update given. No real answer to the question, will Steve's spot be filled if he's unavailable for their season opener in Ireland, August 29th.
Well, does he have another son?
Plug that one in. Next kid up. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
The ongoing investigation into Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers regarding alleged salary cap circumvention has another twist. Pablo Torre, who broke the original story, revealed that Leonard had an undisclosed sponsorship agreement allegedly worth millions of dollars with Daktronics, the company that designed the Clippers' video board inside the Intuit Dome and has a huge market share of scoreboards in stadiums, arenas around the sports world. Daktronics spokesman acknowledged the NBA is looking into them and the ongoing investigation by the league. And still we wait. And will the Raptors want to finish that trade? And what will the penalty be? And the clock ticks on. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball, the Red Sox. Hey, you got to win a lot of different ways if you're going to win 31 out of 36. Red Sox, dramatic finish, 12-11. They beat the White Sox in 13 innings.
Yeah, that game had me captivated. I was watching it.
Both teams scoring in extra innings. You hung on there for the drama with the Red Sox tying it up in the 9th. 1 in the 9th, 2 in the 10th, 1 in the 11th, 1 in the 12th, 1 in the 13th before they finally win it.
Oh, yeah. The 2-out single in the 9th inning. They had a runner on 3rd, and they couldn't get him in. It looked like, oh, no, now sac fly or ground out or what have you isn't going to do it. They get a single up the middle to tie the game. And then in the extras, you expect runs with the
guy at second base.
Yeah.
Now they've gone to the automatic runner to try to move things along.
And they hit a 2-run homer off of Chapman, but no big deal.
The law of numbers, as you expected, held up. 1 run for the Diamondbacks the day after they scored 10.
Yeah, you want to win like 4-3 or something. You don't want to win 10-4 because then the next game you're not going to score.
Yep. Padres win 5-1, so in the battle for that last wild card in the National League, the Diamondbacks have it. The Padres are a game back. They split a 4-game series.
Well, I think that's appropriate for 2 teams that are
basically 500 teams, yeah. And the team that benefited is the Phillies. They win again, 7-3. So while the other 2 were splitting, the Phillies, who started the week tied with the Diamondbacks, they've pulled away a little bit, given themselves a little breathing room.
It's too early to worry about that, though. I mean, I know you're a standings guy.
I'm on top of it.
But it's with 2 months to go in the season.
It's still only, the Phillies are still only 2 games in front of the Padres. They could be the team that's out.
Yeah. But I know you like to talk about that.
Christopher Sanchez, a 15-game winner. There used to be a time that was a thing, PK. Phillies beat Washington 7-3. Christopher Sanchez, 15 wins for Philly. But now it's all about whip and a bunch of other stats.
You keep saying that.
You think people are tracking 15 wins and who gets the most wins and all that? Seems like
And I think that's what the standings are based on. Who gets the most wins?
Yeah, but they're pulling pitchers out so early in games now. They can't control who wins. It's different than when they were expected to go 7, 8, or 9.
Now
they're going 4, 5,
go
or 6.
7 or 8 or 9, or at least 7, they will. They don't take them out because you've reached some little league. We got to take you out. It's because they need to get somebody else in there.
The Bees fall again. They were up 3-1 after 6. They end up getting beat 6-3. Oklahoma City gets a win. The Bees have dropped 10 in a row. They will try again tonight. America First Field, 6:30. Tony Parks on the call, 6:20 here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Real Salt Lake back in action tomorrow, 8 o'clock. They're going to be playing in second game in the League's Cup. Atlante, the Liga MX side, will visit them for that game. The pregame show will start at 7 o'clock. Pablo Mastroeni will join us coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, and we'll talk to him about that game, see what lineup changes can be expected with the games coming fast and furious. It seems like he's got to make changes every game. We'll talk with him about that at 8 o'clock, and haven't heard anything on Gozo and that deal getting done. We'll see if Pablo can shed any light on that. Utah Royals face the Denver Summit in the Continental Divide rivalry, 2 o'clock tomorrow on The Zone, 1:30 for the pregame show. That's what's trending, brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Pablo at 8 o'clock. Tiger Bachmeier, BYU wide receiver. PK and I talked with him. We'll hear him coming up at 8:30. And Aaron Roderick, BYU offensive coordinator, at 9 o'clock. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Joining us now, it is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall.
I know you're so process-driven and there's a plan to every part of the season, but is this your favorite part?
There's an excitement that comes to the start of every season for sure. I would have to say, just in terms of full transparency, I really like the off-season. I like the molding, forming, crafting, forging the next team through the weight workouts and through the runs and through the early morning workouts and through spring practice. I think that's my favorite era. Nothing takes away from the season, or can it take the place of the season, and the excitement going into today, certainly at a really high level. I think foundationally that my favorite part is the formation of the team, and now this part where you get to see kind of the fruition of the formation of your program.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the coach today from 10 to 2 at RGS Exteriors, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. Question of the morning. When will BYU and Utah lose their first games? The old cliche, everybody's undefeated right now, everybody's happy. That is bound to change, but when? Jared with the dream scenario. It'd be cool if either one of them, their first loss was when they played the other one. That would make for an awesome game.
That'd be 2 top 10 teams.
Sitting there at 8-0 versus 8-0, and given that they started 15-21 in the coaches' preseason poll, your top 10 is probably on the low end, but that's the round number we all go to, right? Could be number 5 versus number 8. Number 3 versus number 6. How good could it get? That'd be pretty good. There aren't that many teams that make it to 8-0. They'd with where they're starting 8-0, they'd be up there.
Yeah, the playoff committee would have their ranking out by then, and I don't think they want to rank them that high, because then they don't have to worry about giving the Big 12 a second bid if teams that high. So I wouldn't see top 5. But BYU has the opportunity, certainly because of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is going to be highly ranked most of the season unless they really fall off, and I don't see it. So getting a win at Notre Dame at home would just be one of the better wins the program has ever had, all things considered this year. Utah doesn't really have that marquee win, but they will have opportunities to get them in November. And this game is the first game of November. So I think that they would actually benefit if they're looking for an at-large berth. They would benefit from BYU's success and then beating BYU.
I can put a poll question here. I suspect Notre Dame will be the prevailing answer for when the Cougars get their first loss. There are some games before that could be tricky. They've got to go to TCU. We've talked about the Arizona opener, so it could come before Notre Dame.
I think
most people go to Notre Dame.
Tricky.
Though, okay, yeah, that's 3, and the others going to Kansas late in the year. The Utah game, obviously.
Well, I think half leading up to that game. I don't count the Utah Tech game. So they play 6 games before then. That's a scrimmage.
Well, Notre Dame is game 6, so it's 5 before then.
Right.
And you're right about Tech in the scrimmage. So the other 4, you look at 2 of those 4 as tricky.
Yeah.
You say half, yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Arizona and at TCU.
Why wouldn't you?
So you want to pick them for the first loss against Arizona or TCU?
That very well could happen.
It very well could, but what do you want to pick?
Well, what's the difference what you pick? I mean,
well, that's the question. I mean, there is no difference. We're just killing time in August, waiting for a game.
They could lose both of those games.
They could.
I mean, predictions for me are just that. If you do it in August, when the season is underway, you have a much better feel. Now, the Arizona game is still way too early to be looking at that. And what do you got, Schedule Boy? What are you looking up now?
I'm putting up the poll question.
Oh. So, yes, they could lose 2 games. Gosh, if I'm the coaches, I'm greatly concerned about both those games. Not right now today. They're worried about practice today. But when the time comes, those things aren't even close to gimmies. There's no question right now in my mind they can go either way. Maybe Arizona, it's not going to change. When we get to game week, I'm still going to think the same thing I have today, unless they've had some massive
injury.
Camp injuries.
Game 1 isn't going to tell us that much. I get that.
TCU will have a much better feel for both sides. But right now, that Arizona game, it's not like I'm petrified, but these guys have been pointing to this game. Talked to the Arizona guys in Texas. They were talking about it, Fafita. And then I substituted, Ben is out, so I did some work with Jake yesterday. And he said when I deserted him because I had to go to the airport, and then they had Brett Brennan on, the Arizona coach, and he was talking about that game. And now obviously he's talking to a Utah audience, and he knows the audience, and he's got media savvy. So that's one of the reasons why he's bringing it up. I told Jake that actually the reason why I left because of my deep concern and love for my audience, because I had to get back. I don't take days off. No days off. So I had to get back to do the show the next day. So that's why I left. And they bought, for whatever reason, that second day, they brought coaches after 3 o'clock. And that was, Brennan was one of them. And he's talking about that game. So, and Fafita's got family, tons of family, he said, that live in Utah. Sort of makes sense. He's a Polynesian guy from Southern California. There's thousands upon thousands of those folks who live up here now. And so they're looking to settle a score for sure because they got a lot of returning guys. So does BYU. And Arizona, absolutely. They had a really good season last year, and they believe they let that game get away. And you can see why they think that. So that, to me, that game is a toss-up. And right now, I think TCU would be a toss-up. Now, we'll have more thought on that as we get to that game week. But, yeah, I think that's a real difficult schedule for them. The 2 out of the first 4? Yeah, for sure. And then, obviously, Notre Dame might be the best team that they play all year.
I put it up on Twitter. You can go vote. When will BYU lose for the first time versus Arizona in Game 2, at TCU Game 4 versus Notre Dame Game 6, or other? Get something else. You can drop a comment and explain.
If they roll out of that 6-0. Katie bar the door. Good night, Irene. Lay down, Sally. Won't you rest me in your arms? Yes. I'm choosing BYU. You can tell. Drinking Jack all by myself.
Let the lyrics roll.
And the good times, for that matter.
Well, that would be good times.
I go to your era.
Got an undefeated team rolling through
7-0?
September and October.
I freaking hire Kalani at USC right then and there.
He did what USC won't. He played Notre Dame and he beat them.
Yes.
You can't.
They're 7-0. That's the best stretch they've had in program history.
We'll get Larry the Laker out of Mom's basement and say, go talk to all your USC neighbors. What are they saying, Lair?
That would be phenomenally incredible. Not just incredible, but phenomenally incredible.
Would you like to put another
Yes.
qualifier in front of that?
And deservedly so, and I'm still understating it.
Unbelievably.
Yeah. I don't see how you can argue. And it's fun to have hybrid ball. I get that. We're messing around here. But there's a lot of truth to that, man. If they roll out 7-0, beating basically a 4-year starter quarterback in Arizona and going down to TCU and then beating Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame, who's
you can say, Arizona, TCU. Okay, but then it's punctuated by Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame's number 5 in the coach's preseason poll.
You can't say,
we'll get the media
Notre
poll.
Dame.
Right.
No, I don't want to hear it.
They beat number 5 Notre Dame.
Yeah. And BYU, outside of the Miami win, has always had a yeah, but. Well, there'll be no yeah, buts. They only have the media and the public, non-BYU, of course, have only given them one non-yeah, but win in their entire program history.
Kansas State, Cotton Bowl.
No.
Not even that.
I mean, good for Kansas State, but it's Kansas State.
They were a top 10 team.
And they were, but they don't. Nobody views Kansas State.
In the history of football, it doesn't carry. You're right. And the Oklahoma and Texas, well, Texas did down. And Oklahoma's quarterback was hurt. They beat Michigan. Michigan was a 500 team that year. Here's all the yeah buts getting run out. Yeah.
They've only got one non-yeah but. Now, I think they've got more than that, but that's what the
Penn
perception
State.
is.
What about the Penn State win?
Nope.
Just hit him with a guttural noise. Not a real argument.
I don't even know what the yeah but was, but if I go back and research, and that you live in the past, so you can do that. I don't want to do that. And here, the Notre Dame will be the second one if they should get it.
What about Wisconsin and Michigan State? You were at those games.
Yeah, I think
Michigan State unraveled that year. They unraveled that year.
And I think Wisconsin went 7-5. It was a phenomenal game.
Nebraska on the Hail Mary at the goal line.
Yeah, Nebraska sucks since Tom Osborne. Those are all thrilling, awesome wins for sure.
Named programs, but
they were great wins. Yeah, I mean, really, any power 4 or 5, whatever you want, 5 then, 4 now. Those are all good wins, no doubt about it. And especially you can't control. You schedule the game. It's up to the other team to be good. And it's up to the other team to be good after you beat them. And then it's not BYU's fault, but that's the perception out there. A bunch of yeah buts, and they start 7-0. Wow, that's the best run they would have had in a regular season program history.
7-0 with a win over number 5, or maybe by then even better than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would think TCU and Arizona would have representative seasons.
TCU's got a good chance at that point of being 4-0. I mean, you're right. Just so you get to see 4 games, so you have a few more thoughts. You'll know at least how they're winning. This is what they do real well. There aren't a lot of marquee games: North Carolina, Grambling, Arkansas State, and UCF.
Well,
But
North
nonetheless-
Carolina will be a notable game for the Belichicks
Yep.
and his 14-year-old girlfriend, and the fact that it's in Ireland.
10 a.m. ESPN, the whole country will get to watch it, and the Belichick factor puts some eyeballs on it. Plus, just it'll be the only game on.
Yeah, and I always watch it because I like the sights and sounds of Ireland, my grandfather's homeland. And I've never been there. Interestingly enough, my daughter's been there, but I haven't been there. And my niece took her. My niece who turns 49 in next week. Obviously my older sister. And so I like the sights and sounds. I'll be watching that game. It was the Kansas's battle last year with the two Kansas schools.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that, and I'll be watching it. I already got that day planned, man. I go to the gym, come home.
10 a.m. kickoff.
It's too
have a
early
little
for
lunch,
nachos.
Watch the game.
Maybe second half. But yeah, absolutely. So get a read on, and I'll be pulling for the Big 12. Nothing against Belichick. I have no feeling for him. I'm neutral either way. But I want the Big 12 to have success in these non-conference games so they can get a second team in and then hopefully have success in there and then build from there. And with that in mind, the Cougars have this opportunity to just really shock the world, especially after, the double-digit wins. And, I mean, it was a big thing was Notre Dame last year not getting in the playoff, that's for sure. But I think BYU was a side story to that. They were mentioned. So 2 years ago, they weren't mentioned at all, which I don't understand. Last year, they were mentioned. They had honorable mention last year. Now, this year, they could get voted in.
Well, the storyline, if and when they get a third loss, the storyline changes. But until then, whether you're talking about the game, you're on the broadcast, you're writing whatever, it's, hey, they've had a couple of 2-loss teams that didn't get in. They've got 0 losses this year. They got 1 loss. They got 2. And here they are in the same situation or in a better situation. Are they going to get in this time?
Right.
So that storyline is,
I think
as it gets repeated, it just keeps building.
It builds. It snowballs.
It'll be 2.5 seasons into that storyline when they play Notre Dame.
Right. And if they should knock off the Irish, I think I might storm the field.
I don't really see that. You will not storm the field.
It's worth it.
First off, the media was down with like 4 minutes left. So
Right.
you standing there, with some assistant athletic director who you knew
Right,
since
so I'd
they were-
already be there. The opportunity would be there. That's exactly.
He's going to be feet
You
away
just
from
raise
getting...
the arms and just start
Right.
running out to this field and bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
Go find. Everyone else will be running a Bear-Bachmeier, but now after a couple of interviews, one of which you'll hear later today, go to Tiger. You'll go to Tiger.
I would be happy, extremely happy for the Cougar people. Yeah, no doubt about it.
You would be actually over in the corner because you would be on the field, and they probably would storm the field as they have after other big wins at home. So you'd probably be heading to the tunnel to be out of the way. So you get run over as people come flying out onto the field, not paying attention.
Nah, maybe security and drop a couple people, help them out.
What you really want, and this is
Clotheslining
where
folks as
this
they're
is
going
where your
by.
long relationship with Brian Santiago, knowing him when he was working in the corner of Steve Cleveland's office when he first came to the campus.
Those are facts.
Yeah, you'd go to Brian and say, "Okay, Brian, here's my dream scenario. You beat Notre Dame to remain undefeated. I'll work with security to keep the field clear. And what I want is 2004 Fiesta Bowl style security. Can you put up a chain link fence? I'll grab a taser and it's game on."
Well,
Throwing people back over the fence, that was your favorite.
Oh, that was something. Yeah, that was watching. Guys, there's actually they made a book. I wrote the introduction for it. They made a book on it, and it's like a picture book, and it's got a little bit of copy.
Did the Trib do this with all the photographers at the game?
I think they did, yeah. And so I wrote the intro and the front cover, blah, blah, blah. And there's a picture of guys trying to get on the field from the north end zone, and they did have a fence, and security is like setting them back up. It reminded
Like volleyball.
Me, yeah. And then somebody would come in for the spike. These Ute fans, they stormed the field at the drop of a hat. I mean, they lead the country in single storming for one game with 3. No one will ever top that.
That's the all-time record.
Yeah. So, and that year was a massive storming, when they beat BYU to go, and they were ready to go and all that. And so they were thinking they set up a stage probably, close to midfield. But the Tempe people, they were determined that was not going to happen, which didn't seem like that was a stormable game. Because you kicked the crap out of Pittsburgh. It was a foregone conclusion, and then you did it.
Yeah.
They were like a 4-loss team or something. There was some thing that said they had to go out of the now departed defunct football Big East. Yeah. So I didn't see why you'd want to storm on that one. That didn't make any sense to me. The game was decided way early. It was not a last seconder like some of these things that you had, or an overtime, what have you, in the way that BYU Utah have had so many of those games that really come down to the end and emotions are peaked at that point. I mean, most of the Ute fans should have been long sauced, and it shouldn't have been a big deal. They should have hustled over to Mill Avenue and got a couple last calls.
Mill Avenue. Local knowledge.
I think most of the folks know Mill Avenue.
Yeah.
It's walkable from the stadium.
Okay, early votes were way early, but the vote right now seems split between Arizona and Notre Dame. 35% each. 21% for other and 7% for TCU.
I know there's a high percentage of Ute fans that know about Mill Avenue because they spent a lot of time there. Because that was the Christmas week, obviously. That was one of the most fun weeks I'd ever had.
So you don't have to fly in the day before the game or morning of like a regular season game. It's the holidays. You get to go down there. Is that the whole commercial district?
It's just a bar district.
Okay. It's not even like restaurants or shops and stores and stuff.
Yeah, but not really
not stores.
More
just eating and drinking.
Establishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were so many people. I was doing the morning show with you from the hotel, the media, and then doing the afternoon show with Gordon at a sports bar, McDuffie's, which isn't there anymore. And so many people were saying they were driving, and they were saying that they listened to us in the morning.
And then showed up, saw you, and then, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, it was the greatest week to date for Utah. Obviously, the Rose Bowl, certainly the first time, would be right up there. But the thing about it was so concentrated. Mm-hmm. You don't even have that now because the Fiesta Bowl is played in the Cardinal Stadium, which is way on the west side, and it's spread out. It's like Rose Bowl was spread out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Everybody was concentrated. And if you went to Scottsdale, Scottsdale's the old town Scottsdale is like 3-4 miles away, not 25. Rose Bowl, people were spread out all. I mean, the massive amount of acreage there.
It's just,
And I was there that whole week too, and there wasn't that gathering. There was that gathering for the parade,
but that was really the first time.
Yeah,
because it's L.A. and everybody's all over the place,
right? And you got relatives that live down in Orange County, live who knows where, Riverside, blah 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 blah. Of course, San Bernardino. We know there's at least one former Ute in San Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
So you had that going on.
But some people are staying in Pasadena, but some people are staying by the airport.
And then you got
how you hanging on? Where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino right now.
We got the conclusive proof. Like we hung with the Monsons the whole time, and we went, I took them down to South Bay, and New Year's Eve day, we were hanging around Hermosa, which got tons of shops. I mean, that's a big entertainment area. And there was hundreds of Ute fans coming up and talk to us. Hundreds, literally. So they were all over the place. Whereas in Tempe and Scottsdale, man, you couldn't go 5 feet, and it was so cool.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is tickets, because Pitt was so slightly above average and so far away,
and their coach
whatever.
was leaving.
The coach was leaving. Yeah. They're just not going to travel that many people. Whereas Ohio State, who has a gazillion alumni everywhere, they get 50,000 tickets to Fiesta Bowl. You're not getting 50,000 tickets to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State's going to gobble up too many of them. Right. Plus, the Rose Bowl is such an event that people would just go to it to go to it. So you're not getting 50,000 people in.
So that was. I couldn't have had a better time that entire week.
So when do you think Utah loses for the first time? For BYU, it's Arizona, TCU, or Notre Dame, right? Games 2, 4, 6 seem like the biggest threats, stopping them from getting to 8-0 in Utah. We got other up. Maybe that is where you think it'll happen, so you can drop your comments. For Utah.
I'll tell you when we come back.
Oh, stay with us, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome to This is Chase Scott and Ben Anderson.
I mean, honestly, this is uncharted territory for Utah. Other than Witt like to change his offensive coordinator every 45 minutes, we have not seen a switch at head coach for Utah, hardly ever. I mean, they are the Pittsburgh Steelers of college football. Kind of had a couple of coaches, and they've all stepped in and been very successful.
I think Morgan probably will try and find the sweet spot in being a little bit more aggressive. If he tries to go full Mike Leach on it, Utah's going to learn some painful lessons. But
there's more room for error than Witt thought.
There is, and I think
in a good way.
And we saw that in the bowl game. Mm-hmm. Deep down, Witt is a soccer coach, and I don't think that Morgan is a soccer coach. And when I say that, I mean like, oh, you've got a 1-goal to none lead. Well, let's sit on that thing. Yep. Let's anchor it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Love that strategy.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hear that? That's now Crispy and McCrispy strips meeting creamy Caesar sauce. Sounds extra crispy. Caesar sauce at McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. The thought, the possibility that BYU and Utah could both be undefeated when they play leads to the question, when will they suffer their first defeat? You can go to Twitter. The BYU poll question is up. It is time to launch the Ute poll question. When will the Utes get beat? They got Idaho in the opener. Arkansas and Utah State come in for the non-conference season. They open conference play at Iowa State, come back home for Kansas. Go to Colorado, home to Houston. You feeling a loss in there somewhere, PK? Cincinnati, Halloween Day in Ohio, and then it's the Cougs.
Yeah. I don't think they'll start the conference season 4-0.
Houston is the fourth game. So Houston gets them, or before that, at Iowa State, home to Kansas, at Colorado.
I'm going to go with they go in to the conference, which puts them in a good spot into the BYU game at 3-1.
They got 5 games, so you got to move them to 4-1 or 3-2.
I'm talking the conference.
In conference, yeah. Iowa State, Kansas, Colorado, Houston, Cincinnati. They got 5 conference games before BYU.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
I get 3-1 coming out of Houston.
So I won't go 5-0.
You won't go 5-0. So where does the first loss come?
I don't know.
Kansas, Houston, those are both home games, but in the preseason, those are the two that are getting talked up the most. Of the road games, at Iowa State, at Colorado, at Cincinnati, any of those look more difficult than the others?
They all do. I don't think they'll have a breeze on any of them. They're all going to be tough games. Maybe they roll over some of these teams. And maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe they're just friggin' undefeated through September and October. That'd be awesome. Love to see it. Love for both these teams to be undefeated going into November 7th, for sure. Yeah, I got no problem saying that. I just think winning 5 conference games in a row is hard.
And sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah.
And stuff goes wrong for you, or stuff goes great for them. One of these teams comes together, and maybe they're just absolutely flying.
Right.
Maybe it's right out of the gate. Iowa State, they bring a core of guys from Wazoo, and they get her done.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be pushovers. It doesn't seem to me that there's going to be a team that you can say, wow, we should really, really hammer them. Maybe Colorado. Maybe that might be the team that I would say most likely to be a lopsided game. as far as that goes. That would be my guess. And that's just what I'm doing. I'm just guessing. That's where I would put it. But I think all the others, I can't go out there and say, wow, that team, it's just, you ought to just crush that team by whatever, 30, 40 points. Doesn't seem likely to me that that's actually going to happen. Maybe it does. Maybe this team is just that good. And I don't think I'm underestimating them because I think that they have a chance to roll out a 10-2 season. I'm just saying starting 5-0, I think that's hard. Hard to do for anybody, for that matter. Considering in both years that Utah has been in the conference, no conference team has been able to do it and then go on and get the job done. Texas Tech had one loss. The year before, they all had two. Texas Tech had one loss, but I believe that was early. That was like in their third or fourth conference game.
I thought it was an October game.
It was an October game. Yeah. It was the same day as BYU and Utah. I know it was. It was the exact same day. And that was like October 17th last year. So with that in mind, yeah, that's the way I see it, is that that is just hard to do generally. I'm not looking at any specific game. I'm speaking generally.
You're playing the old Matt Harpering-Lob numbers game.
Yeah.
I get it. I think Kansas game 5, Houston game 7, both at home. At Cincinnati game 8, the pressure builds. The more you talk about it, and coaches always say, you ignore the noise, it's rat poison, and nonetheless, you can't really. Your friends, your family, social media, your teammates, somebody's going to be talking about it.
Injuries set in.
Yep.
You may have to sit out a guy for a game or two. He's got something that he can't go this week, but there's a good chance he can go next week. So you got that going on. Yeah, those things happen, right? They absolutely do happen. And you hope they don't happen, but they do. And they happen for everybody. It's not like they're just going to happen to you, although some teams get more hindered by injuries than others, but everybody does to an extent, especially because I've said a lot of times, based on my Pac-12 knowledge, is that it also matters when you play a team, because they might have their quarterback has to sit out for a week or two, and then he comes back.
You got the suspensions and the injuries, but also you have guys developing over the course of a season. So maybe you catch a team early, and then some guy comes on and dominates late.
Yeah. I think 5-0, man, I assume they're going to go 3-0 in the non-conference. I don't really think that's much of a question for me. But to go 5-0 in conference, man, that'd be flying high. Obviously, you couldn't ask for better. And that would set up a real big-time showdown, which, yeah, I want that. I want that. Absolutely want that. And have but especially, too, because by November, the game days and the Herb Streets and all, they seem to just talk about Ohio State. And that's the one thing that kind of sours me a little bit. Is when you get into November, it's the same teams that they're talking about. Yep. And that's why I've stopped really liking, I got to watch game day.
I'm there for and I've been here for long. Last 15 minutes for picks is plenty, and then I'm there for the 10 a.m. kickoff or whatever. Especially in the Pac-12 era, there weren't a lot of Pac-12 games early. Now there's always a Big 12 game at 10 a.m. I want to see.
And so there's nothing more that I would like to see is that November 1st week and that first Saturday in November where the country's talking about two undefeated teams 45 miles apart. That at that point, you can't be ignored.
It's massive.
Yeah, right.
It's like we were saying earlier, given that they're starting 15 and 21, top 10, are they both top 8, top 6? How good is it? And it depends, back to the teams they're all going to be talking about. Is Ohio State still undefeated? Is Georgia still undefeated?
Well, they mostly are. And if they're not, then Texas is. Yeah. So they're choosing Texas, I can tell.
Sing it.
So they're going down that road. And here I am drinking Jack by myself.
Lyrics.
So I want that. I want, and if it's not, first choice is local. Second choice is ASU. Third choice is Big 12.
DJ PK, we'll take a break. When we come back, Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach, joins us. Tiger Bachmeier, BYU wide receiver, our conversation with him at 8:30. And Aaron Roderick, Cougar offensive coordinator, at 9. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
From lashes for days with the viral Liquid Lash Extensions mascara to awakening your eyes with lift and color from the Brilliant Eye Brightener, Thrive Cosmetics is the go-to when you want to amplify your everyday look. Plus, every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin. And for every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates to help communities thrive. So every time you use your favorite Thrive Cosmetics product, you're helping communities you care about, too. Amplify your everyday. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.